But my favorite uncle was Uncle Benny. Uncle Benny was the best uncle, and we all have an Uncle Benny. All of you have one. You might call him something different. But when I get done describing him to you, there's going to be somebody that pops in your head. Uncle Benny was, I think, my favorite uncle because he treated me like an equal. He'd always get down on one knee, ask me how I was doing. How's the family treating you? You doing good in school? You keeping your grades up? You got a girlfriend yet? And then he would give me a bush light. And when you're 8 years old and somebody gives you a full can of beer, fuck yeah, you're my favorite uncle, dude. I will go to war with you. I will not tell any of your wives about any of the other ones. I swear. And all of us kids gravitated toward Uncle Benny. When he got there, we loved him. And then one of my fucking cousins snitched, and my grandmother found out that he was a bad influence on the kids, like handing out contraband. And she stopped inviting him to family functions. Do you think that stopped it? Nah. Even a drunk knows when Christmas and Thanksgiving are on. He just showed up late. And we always knew he was coming. Every year there would always be one naive adult at the dinner table who would utter this phrase. Y'all think Benny's showing up this year after what happened last year? And some other naive adult would say, there's no way he shows his face after what he did last year. And us kids are like, fuck he won't. So we would always excuse ourselves. We'd go in the front yard. We'd pretend like we were playing. We were not playing. We were awaiting chaos. My grandmother lived a mile and a half down a dirt road. And from her front yard, you could see where that dirt road ran perpendicular to the state road, the paved road. And anytime somebody would turn off that paved road, you could see them coming a mile and a half away, and you just see them scoot up. And if they were minding the speed limit, you could see what car it was, just moving slowly towards you. You'd throw up a wave. But let's say somebody hit that dirt road going 75 miles an hour. You didn't see the car. You just saw a little dirt cloud. That's what we were looking for. We didn't want a fucking car. We wanted a dirt cloud. And one kid would see it before anybody else. It was like a fucking shooting star. They'd be like, look! And we'd all look, and there it was, vibrating on the horizon, just a little dirt cloud. And we'd start getting fucking stoked. We're like, Benny, Benny, Benny. And he'd get a little bit down that dirt road, and we all shut the fuck up, because we knew that if we got quiet, you could hear him before you saw him. We'd get real quiet, and if there was no wind blowing through the trees, no critters making any noise, you could just hear it echoing down that dirt road. Taking care of business every day, taking care. And as that dirt cloud got bigger and bigger, that BTO got louder and louder and louder. And he got about a mile from the house, and out of that dirt cloud shot Uncle Benny in his Trans Am. Because one, of course he drove a fucking Trans Am. Two, T-tops out, year round, zero fucks that man gave. And for the next mile, it was like watching a movie. You had no idea what was coming next. Is he gonna run into a ditch? Is he gonna hit a pedestrian neighbor? Who fucking knows? Buckle up. And then he fishtailed the whole time, and we're just on the edge of our seats, and he's just fishtailing, hammered, just waving at us out of the top of the T-tops. And then he gets to my grandma's driveway, and he e-brake that sumbitch and give it a little bit of gas, and he starts shooting up that driveway. And then for the next 40 yards, he's heading straight at us kids. Wide ass open. And we're still just like cheering him on. We're like, yes! If this is how I go out at 8, fuck it. And right before he gets to us, he pulls that e-brake one more time, and he slides that motherfucker in sideways, slings gravel everywhere. One, cool fucking entrance. Two, he learned very quickly, if you park sideways, nobody else can leave until you leave. And then the next minute, I still see it so clearly in my head. It was like a movie. Wide camera angle. Zooms in. Dust settles. Ignition off. Car door opens. First boot. Hits. Second boot. Hits. And that man stands up. Denim on denim on denim. Friends, this is the early 90s. There's nothing fucking cooler than that. And he reaches into his pocket, pulls out his sunglasses and puts them on. Then he Bo Duke slides across the hood of that Trans Am. Then he opens up the passenger door for whatever fucking Holiday Inn cocktail waitress he's dating at the time. Because even though he was a drunk and a terrible father, he was still a consummate fucking gentleman. And then he'd come over to us and he'd rub us on the head and ask us how we were doing, how school was going, how your parents treating us. And then he would give us beer and cigarettes and Playboys. You guys can keep the fucking Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. That's my mythological fucking holiday creature. Goddamn right. And then he would always say the same thing. He's like, listen kids, I need y'all to watch the car. I gotta go talk to these adults. And we were like, we'll watch the car for you, man. We're drinking fucking tall boys. It's awesome. That's called foreshadowing. And within 5 minutes of that screen door slamming on my grandmother's carport, two things are happening. One, something's breaking very loudly. Two, my grandmother, very small southern woman, God-fearing woman, didn't cuss a lot, would scream at the top of her lungs, Benny, I'm calling the fucking cops! And just as soon as he walked in, he was cool as a cucumber because he knew the sheriff had about 15 to 17 minutes before they could get there. And he just comes prancing out and says, kids, Uncle Benny's got to get the fuck out of here. And then he'd pat us on the head and he'd get back in the car, and I still hear when he cranked that Trans Am, the ground shook. It was bigger than life. Us kids, it was amazing. And he'd get in that car and he'd slowly back down, and right when he got to the edge of it, he would just look over at us. And we were looking at him, we're like, fuck yeah. And then he'd turn it loose, and just for the next mile and a half, he's just fishtailing that motherfucker up the drive. And it was like we were at a goddamn football game. We're just cheering him on. We're like, yes! Like he's hammered, operating a motor vehicle with another person after distributing illicit materials to fucking minors. Fuck yeah! Uncle Benny died when he was 39 years old. Don't you fucking feel bad for him? That man lived his life. Don't ever feel bad for him. He chose that. I was in 4 of his fucking weddings before I was 10. 2 of those weddings were so close together, I didn't need another fucking suit. And I was a quick growing boy. Don't you feel bad? That man, he lived exactly like he wanted to. He went out burning. And that was my role model. That's who every kid, go to school, what do you want to be? An astronaut, what do you want to be? A policeman, what do you want to be? Uncle Benny. So when I was 20 years old, I started a band and I got to live my best Benny impersonation. Fucking Trans Am, I had an E350 with a fucking trailer behind it. I didn't realize I had a problem until my mom stopped me at a family function I was not invited to. A little fucked up. She said, BJ, you know who you remind me of right now? I said, who's that, Mama? She said, you remind me of Benny. We'll get to talking to my mom later, but I want to let you know early on, she was the strongest person I've ever met. I never watched her fear anything. That was never an emotion I saw from my mom. She was always in control. Scary. But when I was 30 years old, that's the first time in 30 years I saw fear in my mom's eyes. My mom was afraid she was about to lose her oldest son the same way she lost her big brother. And that scared the fuck out of me. Through my wife and my mom, I got the help I needed. And this is a song about that. And like I said, most of y'all don't need this song. There's about 5 or 6 of y'all out there that are struggling. And I know you are. And if you don't have anybody to talk to about it, talk to me after the show. Send me a message on the internet. I don't have all the answers, but I can tell you what I did. I can tell you what worked for me. And this is a song about my journey with it. And this is a song called One Day at a Time.